Guys, if you're going to be taking the Duolingo English test, this video is for you because I'm going to be explaining everything you need to make sure that you ace the Duolingo test in these next 60 minutes. So stick with me for about an hour and I'll make sure that you can get the best possible scores of your life. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, follow us on Instagram and sign up on YMGrad.com for free study material for the Duolingo English test. Now, guys, we don't really have a lot of time. Let's get started. First, I'm going to be taking you over the format of the questions, the tips and tricks for the questions, and then I'm going to be solving a real test in front of you so that you can understand exactly how to apply those strategies in action. The first kind of question you will see over here is the describe the image question. This question is going to test your writing skills and you usually get about 1 minute to answer this. Remember, just about 1 to 2 lines about the image are more than enough. The most common mistake people make over here is that they try to write too much. But remember that in 60 minutes, you can only write about 40 to 50 words. That's what an average person who types does. So you don't need to write a whole essay on it. Just about 1 or 2 lines are more than enough. What people make the mistake of is they try to write too much. Either they make grammatical mistakes then, or they're not able to review their text, or they just leave it incomplete because they were never able to finish it because they were trying to write too much. Don't make that mistake. Focus on the correct punctuation and make sure that you are showcasing your vocabulary. So if you can use some advanced words, that would be very good. The second question is the listen and write question. Take a look at this question right over here.
We like playing soccer.
So basically what you've heard right now, you have to just write the same thing in the text box provided to you. Remember, you can hear the recordings up to 3 times, but after that you won't be able to listen to it again if you keep on pressing on it either way. Remember that this recording is almost always going to be a single sentence. My strategy is that I listen to it first 2 times and I write it down. After that, I verify it by listening to it the 3rd time. And trust me, the strategy works very well because sometimes I have found mistakes when I listen to it the 3rd time and I've been able to correct them. Now the third question type is the independent speaking. Now this one is of 2 types, without or with a cue card. First, let's go over the without cue card questions. Take a look at this first image. This shows you the actual question itself. After that, once you have actually read the question will actually start, and you will see in the second image over here on the right side, your actual screen is being recorded. So in this case, I have blacked out the image, but my actual face, my actual photo was being recorded at the time, and I was given 3 minutes to answer this question. As you can see, the question is still on the screen. All right. The other independent speaking question type is of speaking with the cue card. Now, what is the cue card? Take a look at this example right over here. So the cue card will give you a question. It will tell you exactly what kind of prompts it wants answered about that question. So you have to formulate your answer such that you're answering all these 3 questions within your answer. This is usually of 90 seconds only, and within these 90 seconds, you have to answer all of these 3. Remember that the cue card will stay in front of you while you are speaking the answer. Now, what's important over here? You cannot take any notes. You will not have a pencil, a pen. It does not work like that. If you start using that, you're disqualified. So this in itself makes it a little bit difficult for me as compared to a test like, for instance, TOEFL, which gives you a pencil and a paper where you can have a whole template ready for you. But here you have to memorize things in your brain and you have to speak them out loud as and when the time starts. Next, remember that you're not graded on your opinion. It is not a test of your opinion. It's a test of your English. So there are no wrong answers. The next thing to remember is to wrap up before the timer hits 0. How do you do that? You have to be very careful. You have to practice a lot, and with practice you will be able to actually wrap up within these 90 seconds or the 3 minutes that you're given based on the question type. Remember, it is okay to finish off your answer about 5-10 seconds before the timer hits 0 instead of keeping on speaking and getting cut off at the end. Make sure that you don't use as the fillers because that can really hurt your score. And again, confidence is key. Make sure that you're very confident, you know what you're saying, and that's really half the battle won. Also, one piece of advice from me, it's a bit advanced now, but I think you're ready for it, and that is to use intonation. Intonation are cadences in your voice. So listen to me speak this example sentence on your screen right now. Because she prohibited me from coming, I was upset with her. See, my sentence did not go like this. Because she prohibited me from coming, I was upset with her. My sentence went like this. That's what you need to do. It's a cadence in your voice, basically. The fourth question over here is read and speak. One of the very simple question types. Take a look at this image on your screen. All you have to do is speak what's written in front of you. That's it. My advice for this question type, it's very simple, but people mess up simply because they can be overconfident. A couple of pointers over here. Read the sentence in your mind first. Don't just go ahead being overconfident and answer it. If you see commas, pause. It's important. Use intonation. I've already told you how to use it. And finally, keep a check on the timer. Just because you're reading it in your mind does not mean you can do it infinitely. You already are on a timer. Question type 5, one of the very famous ones from Duolingo is the real word selection. So they're going to give you a list of words over here as you see in the image. Most of these words will look like they are actual English words, whereas the key is that you need to understand some of them are not. You only need to select the real words, and if you select the wrong ones, of course you're going to be losing points for that. And if you miss the correct ones, you're going to be losing points for that as well. My advice over here, of course, is to first off improve your vocabulary and then choose the words that you actually know. Don't choose the words that you're not sure about but you think might be actual English words, because Duolingo is very good at making fake words seem like they're actually the English words. Another advice is to watch out for spellings. If you see a spelling J-E-A-P, Jeep, versus a J-E-E-P, Jeep, you should know that J-E-A-P does not exist. Alright, of course, they're not going to give you the real spelling on the test as well. So they're going to just write J-E-A-P. Now, if you select Jeep, J-E-A-P, that's incorrect because that word does not actually exist. And like I said, incorrect words are going to be very similar to the actual words. So be sure that you are wary of them. The sixth question type is to complete the text. It's also a very popular one from Duolingo. As you can see the text, you can skim through it, you can understand how many characters you need to fill in for each and every blank. Hence, it makes the process quite simple, but at the same point in time, there are times when I've found myself stuck, not being able to understand the answer. And in those times, remember, you need to skim through the text, understand the context, focus on the tenses. If the sentence is in past tense, you cannot enter something over there which is in the present, right? So if a verb is missing, basically, you have to complete a verb, make sure that you enter it in the same tense. And my advice is to fill or skip and then move on. Don't get stuck and just keep waiting if there are five more blanks in front of you. First, fill up everything you know. After that, get stuck at that one blank that is troubling you and try to solve that as well. The seventh question type is independent writing. One of the very important question types which tests your actual writing skills and not your opinion again. You're given about 5 minutes. So my advice is to write somewhere around 100 words at a minimum. You can even go higher, but don't keep it lower than 100. My advice also is to use advanced vocabulary wherever possible so that you can show off to the examiner that you actually are aware of the English words and how to use them as well. My other piece of advice is to use transition words. What are transition words? Well, here are some examples on your screen. However, in spite of, regardless, consequently, at the same time, and there are many more. But these words decide the direction of the paragraph. Wherever you want it to go, it can go. If you want to pivot, it can pivot. And it's only possible using these words properly. So if you use them well, you're actually golden. The next piece of advice, very important guys, is to use a notepad. If you're using Windows, use Notepad. If you're using MacBook, well, go onto Google and search for Notepad online and then start writing over there, because I don't want you to use a software that corrects your spelling mistakes or punctuation mistakes, anything of the sort. The only goal over here is to make sure that you write in an environment that is very similar to the actual Duolingo, because let me tell you one thing, my friend, Duolingo will not correct you if you write the spelling of your name or the lion or the kingdom or anything wrong. If you write the spelling of kingdom wrong, that spelling is going to remain wrong on your test. But if your editor, such as a Microsoft Word editor, corrects you, that's something that is a con during your preparation. So make sure you use exactly the same kind of a notepad that the Duolingo gives you. And finally, at the end, what I want you to do is take that same piece of text that you wrote during your practice, write it in Grammarly. You can even use the free version, but see the kind of mistakes you've made. And with that, I think you would be able to improve your grammar dramatically and you will not make such mistakes on the test. But this cannot happen through a software during your write-up itself. It has to be at the end. I hope you understand. The next question type is one of the most important ones for the Duolingo English test. and it's called interactive reading. It comes up towards the end of your test. Here's how it looks like. While it has multiple sections, but the first one you will see is text completion. You will have to select an option from the drop down, and again the same strategy applies where you skim through the text and you select the best possible option. The next one you will see under this question type is the sentence fill-in question, where you have to basically put a sentence to connect two parts of different paragraphs. Well, when you're connecting these two paragraphs, what I want you to do is to understand and read these two paragraphs and find the best sentence to connect these two. The next one is to highlight the answer. They're going to ask you a question, you will have to select or highlight the answer. And in this case, I want you to remember that the answer does not have to be a sentence, it can also be a phrase. Of course, it can be a sentence as well, and in some cases a word as well. The next one is the passage summary, where in this interactive reading, what you have to do is you have to summarize the passage using one line. Again, you'll be given options, you have to select the best one. Remember, the wrong options will always leave some of the important parts or the main parts of the passage out. So keep an eye out for that. And similarly, there's a title selection question as well in the end. Again, all you have to know is what the passage was mainly about, and you'll be able to select the correct title after that. And we're going to be doing all of this again live in front of you. So just hold on till you see me actually do it, and hopefully you'll be able to carve out even a better strategy. Moving on to the final question type, that is the interactive conversation, which is the newest one as well for the Duolingo English Test. The part one of this question type really is sort of like a chat. You're given a prompt. Make sure to read this prompt carefully, because what happens is when you miss out on this prompt later on, you don't really get the answer to the chats. Alright, so it's very important to understand everything mentioned in this prompt. Which class are you in? What kind of things are you going to decide? What is going on right now? Understand your situation very well. Then move on to the question, and you see it's sort of like a chat, as you can see in this video. You're actually chatting with a student and you have to select the correct responses. And remember, the wrong responses will either be out of context or will contain something incorrect that you're not even talking about. For instance, if you're in a class for ABC, maybe they're going to be talking about class XYZ, right? Or they're going to be talking about something completely different. So could be completely incorrect, could be something close, but not really it, but it's more or less like a chat. So you have to feel what you're doing. It's more or less like a conversation. Alright, as I show you on the screen, this is how you solve the question, of course, and I'm going to be doing this live in front of you as well. In the part 2, you have to summarize the same conversation in 75 seconds. That means you don't really have a lot of time on your hands. In my opinion, summarize the same conversation in about 50 words. Remember that you won't have any of this information present in front of you while you actually summarize the conversation. So you have to memorize it while you're having the chat with your friend. Oh, and by the way, the chat is not always with your friend. It could be your professor as well, or anyone really. So those were all the question types and my tips and tricks for your question types on the Duolingo. Now let's actually move on and solve a whole Duolingo practice test right in front of you, and you can see my scores, you can see where I fault. I have not seen this test before, so I may make mistakes. But what I want you to understand is the strategy and how you can actually put it to use for yourself as well. Alright guys, let's move on to it. Alright guys, we're back in front of the PC now, and I'm going to be starting off with the test, and let's do it together. Let's apply the strategies that we learned together, and let's see what kind of score we can get. Alright, practice free right here, practice test, and I'm going to be starting the test right now. Alright guys.
There are 5 seconds left.
Oh, I couldn't listen to it. I was speaking.
There are 5 seconds left.
There are 5 seconds left. Remember, there's a way to write this like this or like this. It's generally preferred if it's up to 9, less than 10 basically, you write it like this, right? There are 5 seconds left. Capital T, all right?
There are 5 seconds left.
All right, I verified. Let's select the words. Shark it, I don't think so. Deal, Fantly, no. Poet, corner, parkin, insert, no. Prenator, no. Freewer, signature, unfold. Scremently, Erses, unforgettable, contrude, regret, Darius, Bannock. Banal is a word, not Bannock. Darius also, I'm not sure about actually. Contrude, I don't think so. Unforgettable, regret. Contrude is a word, not contrude. I know that, so that should be fine. We have regret. Darius, I'm not sure about Darius, but I think very few words here are correct. So insert, absurd is a word. Insert, I'm not sure. Iris. So whatever I'm not sure of, I'm not going to be selecting that basically. All right. Okay. Murphy's early life. Murphy was born on 25th May 1976 in Douglas, County Cork, Ireland. He was raised in Bollington, Ballin Temple, whatever, a suburb could be of his Cork. Let's see, his oh, okay, he's his father, I suppose. Father, oops, that's not good. Father Brendan Murphy worked for the Irish Department of Education. I think this should be suburb because I couldn't really understand anything else. And Ireland does have quite a lot of those. So his mother is a French teacher. He went to University College Cork. And let's just verify that quickly. Was raised in a suburb. His father Department of Education. His mother is a French teacher. All right, sounds good. Let's move on. Okay. All right, guys. Very few minutes left. Let's see. In this image, we can see that a lady is going to the beach with 3 kids. One of the kids has a yellow board in their hands. Could be a surfing board, right? Let's write surfing board in his hands. Seems like his. All right. And 2 of these kids seem to be boys and 1 seems to be a girl. Now you don't need to write all this much. All right. You can also say of which one is a, but it's a little bit late, so I won't do anything right here. One of the kids, not kind, so we need to fix that, has a yellow surfing board in his hands. 2 of these kids seem to be boys and 1 seems to be a girl. Right? Brief description. Let's move on. It was as if he expected to see you. You see, I first read it in my mind. All right, let's move forward. Assumption is correct. Grumpy is correct. Load line is correct. Violate is correct. Compolity. I'm not sure about that. I'm not going to select it. Scrummaging. I know scrummage is a word. Scrummaging. I'm not quite sure of that, so I'm going to leave it out. Fannery, croftle, spacking. I don't think so. Trovern. I know tavern, but trovern. No. Lutes. Appliance. Appliance is a word. Tumpine. Misinform. Misinform is a word. Covertly would be a word. Coverty, I'm not sure. I don't think so. No. Authentic. Redictor. Thrive. So these are the ones that I personally know. Now, there may be some that I'm not able to answer correct, but you see my whole thought process. I don't really select anything that I'm not really 100% sure about. All right? Because the test can really make you think that they are real words. Okay. Ismay's early life. Ismay was born in Nainital, India on 21st June 1887. His father, Sir Stanley Ismay, was a member of the Viceroy's Legislative Council. Okay. And his mother, Beatrice Ellen, was the daughter of an army colonel. All right. Ismay began his education written at the Charterhouse School, and his parents hoped that after completing his education there, he would attend Cambridge. And I think everything looks quite decent here. I really don't think that anything needs to change here. His father, they talked about his mother. So both are, the sentences kind of linked to each other and everything works quite well. Was a member, everything's in past tense, so we're following the tenses as well. Remember, yeah? Everything looks good. Let's move on. If you need help getting another job, I'll help you with that. Okay. If you need help getting another job, I will help you with that. Now, I made a mistake.
Even without seeing you, I would have recognized you by the sound of your voice.
I made a mistake there. Instead of I will, I should have said I'll. But anyway, let's see.
Even without seeing you, I would have recognized you by the sound of your voice.
Let's verify now.
Even without seeing you, I would have recognized you by the sound of your voice.
Remember, there's a comma here. Even without seeing you, there was a gap. Don't miss that. Check the spellings, check the tenses, check the everything basically. Everything looks fine to me. Correct. All right. Dartmouth's wireless network. In 2001, Dartmouth became the first Ivy League institution to offer entirely ubiquitous. Now, if you don't know this word, it's going to be a problem. I know that ubiquitous means that, everywhere. So it makes sense, and that's the only word that I could think of. Wireless internet, right? Internet access with over 1,400 access points, right? So it's basically guesswork. The network is available throughout. I'm not sure of this, but let's move on. Let's skip when we're not sure. Throughout all college buildings, maybe all college buildings, as well as because I understand buildings, I could understand that this has to make it plural, right? So it cannot be something that makes it singular. So all college buildings, as well as in most public outdoor spaces. Other technologies being pioneered include college-wide video on demand. Okay, so ubiquitous wireless internet access with over 1,400 access points. The network is available throughout all college buildings as well as in most public outdoor spaces. Looks good. Let's move on. Real English words. Again, regulate. Regulate is a word, not regulate. For real, element, spelling is wrong. Traumatic, detrimental. Consection, I'm not sure. Tenderness, mediocrity, correct. Explicit, nostalgia. Calculus, I'm not really sure about. It seems quite a lot. Like I'm almost 70% sure, but I'm not sure. So negligible, coherent, astronomy, dismay, hypocrisy, rheticity. Freight. Rheticity, I don't think that's a word, but it's again quite close. So calculus, rheticity, I'm not sure of these. I'm gonna pass. All right, the ones that I'm sure about, I'm gonna keep these: traumatic, detrimental, tenderness, mediocrity, explicit, nostalgia, negligible, coherent, astronomy, dismay, hypocrisy. That's a lot. Anyway, so I think that looks good. Let's move on.
They will have tried to talk to you by the time the story is published.
By the time the story is published. All right, let's try again.
They will have tried to talk to you by the time the story is published.
Check the tense. All right, check everything. If you don't listen properly, then listen last time. All right, just in case you were not sure of the tense. I think it's tried, because they will have try is incorrect English, right?
They will have tried to talk to you by the time the story is published.
Right. So it's tried. All right, by the time the story is published. Put a full stop. There's no need of any commas. Looks good. Mathematical and computer models are produced, and field research is done to test the models. This time I'm going to speak it first. Mathematical and computer models are produced, and field research is done to test the models. All right, that was simple enough. Let's move on. The annual budget. The FDTL's budget for 2013 is 26.2 million. This is similar to the previous year's budget of 26.6 million. Which was equivalent to 2.4% of GDP, I suppose. Yeah, there's nothing else that could fit. The Ministry of Defense and Security, Secretariat of State for Defense are funded separately from FDTLs and were allocated 3.7 million and 3 million. Okay, let's check, just verify. Remember guys, you can't just look here or there during the actual Duolingo. I'm doing a lot of that because first off, it's a practice test. Secondly, even if it lowers the score a little bit, I don't mind. But the concept is that you understand what's going on here, because at the end of the day, the tips and tricks that we talked about, right? I want you to understand those. That's all, right? So remember, when you're actually doing it a little bit at a quicker pace, you finish off before the time, right? And you're not looking here or there into the camera, score will be much better as well. But stick around and let's see what I get. Hopefully I get a good score. Anyway, the FDTL's budget for 2013 is 26.2 million. This is similar to the previous year's budget of 26.6 million, which was equivalent to 2.4% of GDP. Looks quite okay to me. Let's move on. Real English words. I keep on doing these questions again and again. Skeptical, sentiment is not a word. Superficial, contrude. This one came again, right? Not sure of this right now. Contrude. Well, for now, I'm going to select it. I do believe, for some reason, I usually don't select it at 100 until it's like 90 to 100%. But let's see. Contrude. Unless I can find a similar word that they might be trying to trick me into. Versatile, verity, upit, legitimate, spitalism, lumit, revivation, marimine, innation, serenity, allegedly, monopoly, formidable, shattered. Okay, these are correct, but contrude seems like it's the correct word. I just don't feel like I use it on a daily basis, so I'm not sure. Versatile, okay. Overity is not correct. Stimulant is not correct. Upit, spitalism, lumit, revivation, marimine, innation. I don't think any of these are actually words, so I'll let it be. Type the missing letters again. Okay, the virtues that matter most to me. When considering the stature of an athlete, or that, for that matter, any person, I see great. Let's see. I see great dash in certain, I didn't know, qualities, which I believe to be essential in addition to skill. I see certain, let's see, I'm not sure. They are that the person condense, not sure, his or her life with dignity, with integrity, will integrity, no, with, right, with integrity, courage, and let's see, I'm not sure about this one, guys. Conducts his or her life with dignity, with integrity, courage, his life with dignity, integrity, courage, and not sure, persons, and personally, no, and most of, and blank, most of all, with modesty. These virtues are totally compatible with pride, ambition, and competitiveness. Okay, I see great, not sure, great. Now, I may not know this vocabulary word, that's why I'm not able to do it. Stature of an athlete, I see great state in certain qualities, which I believe I see great, not sure, state. Okay, this is tough. I see great still, I'm not sure. I see great state in certain qualities which I believe to be essential in addition to skill. They are that the person conducts his or her life with dignity, with integrity, courage, and no. And personally, persona. And persona most of all. So I'm not sure about this one, so I'm just going to leave it as it is. But you see, the whole point is to help you understand that even I have not seen this before and I can make mistakes. Okay, let's leave it. Let's see what kind of a score we get. Yeah, and if you know the right answers, please comment down below, because those 2 or 3 blanks were really confusing actually, especially the 2 that I step on. Select the real English words. Okay, nest, regrain. Not sure about that. Remorse, merout, grapeville, Venus, no. Outles, no. Interrupt, prayer, vivality, no. Underway, scattered, fissured, no, not fissured. Complementary, totalitarian, I know. Strategically, I know. Concierge, really, I don't think these are correct. No. All right, so nest, remorse, okay, these don't seem to be correct. Interrupt, prayer, virility, no. The rest I know already. The ones I selected, I'm 100% sure they are correct, so that's good enough actually, right? Let's move on. Okay, I will have gone to the movies by the time you decide what you want to do. I will have gone to the movies by the time you decide what you want to do.
Finally, the results of this investigation were published in a scientific magazine.
Magazine. Okay, let's try again.
Finally, the results of this investigation were published in a scientific magazine.
Finally, comma, the results of this investigation were published in a scientific magazine. One last time and we verify everything.
Finally, the results of this investigation were published in a scientific magazine.
I think that's quite fine. We have the comma, we have the full stop, the spellings seem to be correct. Remember, this box does not correct your spelling, so make sure that they're correct. All right. Okay, let's move on. Interactive reading. We have made it to almost the all right. Second part of the test. In 2030, cars will be made entirely differently. Instead of being made of steel, plastic, and glass, they dash now. Okay, they dash now. They are now. As they are now, right? As they are now, right? So instead of being made with steel, plastic, and glass as they are now, they will be made from, made from biodegradable materials. Instead of being produced in factories by human hands, the cars will be produced by, right? The car should be, will be produced by robots working independently in large warehouses. In a large warehouse. Okay, the factory will dash all the necessary raw. Will have all the necessary raw. Okay, there's not have, so it will supply, use, make, invite. Will supply all necessary raw materials. Okay, the factory will supply all the necessary raw materials and bring them to the warehouse. Okay, I guess that should be the right one, because the factory will not gather, it will not use all the necessary raw materials and bring them. No, it will not. It will actually, it could gather all the and bring them to the warehouse. Yeah. Let's see. Gather, supply. It cannot supply and bring it then. It could not be supply all the necessary raw materials and bring them to the warehouse. Let's see. Use, make all the necessary raw materials and bring them to the warehouse, right? The factory. Okay, yeah. In the factory, you make it, right? You can't supply it, you make it. So, because it's going to be supplied by the factory, right? So, it will make all the necessary raw materials and bring them to the warehouse, I think, yeah. Or can it be supply? Necessary raw materials. No, I think it's make all the necessary raw materials and bring them to the warehouse. Okay. Because if it supplies them, then let's see. If it supplies them, then all the will supply all the necessary raw materials. And no, I think it should be make. All right, let's do it. Okay. It was actually gather, it seems. Anyway, now you can see that I messed up one place. Alrighty. Let's select the best sentence to fill in the blank in the passage in the old. Okay, so how do we connect these two, right? We have to understand. That's what it'll do. And then the next part. The components of the body of the car will be created separately and given to robots that will attach them to their frame of the car in exactly the right place. Once the frame and body parts are assembled, the computer inside the warehouse will bring all the parts together and create a fully functional car. Right? So once the frame and the body are assembled, the computer inside the warehouse will bring all the parts together and create a fully functional part. Basically, what we have to connect is that all the necessary raw materials are taken to the warehouse, and then the components of the body and car will be created separately. So something is happening in between. In the old plan, cars could know. Then the robots will create. This could be something like it, right? Because when people get a car, this is later on. Sometimes the parts get mixed up. That's not important. What's really important is that a step is missing and we have to fulfill it. So then the robots will create the frame of the car, right? And then the frame is basically, something that the things get attached to. So this makes sense, right? So they will create the frame of the car from the welded pieces of metal. All right, let's move on. What will cars be made of in 2030? I believe we talked about this. So biodegradable materials. They'll be made from biodegradable materials. All right. So this is the answer to this one. Okay. What will be done with the frame and body parts of the car after they are assembled. All right, so what will be done with the frame and body parts of the car after assembly? Well, the components of the car will be created, we'll attach them to the frame of the car, right? Okay, after that, once the frame are assembled, this is the part, right? This is the part. After this, we have the answer. So this is actually the whole answer. Once the frame and the body parts are assembled, the computer inside the warehouse will bring all the parts together and create a fully functioning car. All right, so that's the answer to that. Let's see, select the idea that is express a factory. Okay, so the idea of the passage is that, cars will change and this is how they will be made, right? A factory that uses an assembly line is called a production. No, at least two different approaches have been used to make cars. No, instead of being assembled in factories, the cars will be assembled in a warehouse by robots that are given all their components separately. This looks like it. Robots are used to assemble cars, but they are expensive now. All right, perfect. And the title for the passage, this question also we talked about. So the major part was, again, the cars of the future. So I will select that one itself. All right. Okay, let's move on. All right, let's see. I think we're at interactive conversation, or what was that? The chat part. Still loading. Let's see. Okay, it's a bit slow. I don't believe I could refresh the page. That would lose all of the progress even if I tried. But let's see. And hopefully you saw that I struggled with one of the, fill in the blanks as well. So you understand that these passages can get quite tricky sometimes. That those words were quite tricky because, it's very difficult to guess what they're trying to say, which kind of qualities, what kind of adjectives they're using to describe a person, So I believe that's something that we might need to put some work into. I'm gonna be revising tonight. Well, let's see. All right, guys, we've finished off the interactive reading. Let's move on, and I'm going to be talking to my friend here about withdrawing from a course, and I want to know what my options are before making a decision. I'm not sure if I'll be able to keep up with the workload and don't want to end up with a bad grade in the class. So I asked my friend if I should actually withdraw from the course itself. All right, remember, no course name is mentioned. Okay. Hey, how's the studying going? No, I'm thinking about withdrawing from my introduction to social work. Hey, I've been thinking of withdrawing from history of art class. I'm thinking about withdrawing from my introduction. I think I should at least start with a hey. Hey, I've been thinking about an art history specialization. Okay, I'm thinking. Oh, yeah. I can't start with a yeah. I have to start with hey, right?
Oh, why? Is it too much work?
So it's history of art. Okay, it's too much work. I'm really struggling to keep up with the readings and the essays. All exams are coming up soon too. Not much, just studying for my introduction. Not much, no, that's not it. Yes, I'm struggling to keep up with all the readings and essays, all the exams. Okay, not yet, I've been, no. Yeah, I've been there. Professor, no, that's the answer here. Okay.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot to handle. Have you talked to your professor about it?
Okay, so you could always talk to, no, that's not the answer. It couldn't hurt to ask, really, I don't want to withdraw. Yeah, I've talked to her yesterday after class, said that I could withdraw from the class or try to stay in the class and see if my grades improve. That sounds like a nice answer.
That's a tough decision. If you withdraw now, you won't get a grade for the class. But if you stay in it and don't do well, you'll end up with a low grade on your transcript.
Exactly. I can't decide what to do. Do you have any advice? Right. That's the kind of response that you would give, right? So she just summarized my problem. So I'm going to say exactly.
Well, it depends on how confident you feel about being able to catch up and improve your grades. If you think there's a good chance that you can do better, then maybe you should try staying in the class and seeing how it goes. But if you're really struggling, then maybe withdrawing is the best option so you don't end up with a bad grade on your transcript.
Yeah, and they said if I applied now. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm just not sure if I can catch up at this point or not. Yeah, that's a good idea. No, she didn't give an idea. Yeah, it's a lot of work. No, not yet. This is the one.
Well, why don't we take a look at your syllabus and see what's coming up in the next few weeks? Maybe we can help you make a plan for catching up on the readings and getting better grades on future assignments so that by the end of the semester your grade will be where you want it to be.
You're right. I should probably know. Okay, but first let's see if we can come up with a plan. Sure thing. I should have finished. No. Okay, thanks. That sounds like a great idea. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be one of these. Okay, but first let's see if we can come up with a plan. Okay, thanks. That sounds like a great idea. I think this one. All right, that was correct. Let's move on. Okay. I asked my friend her opinion as I let's see, juggle between dropping the history of art class, between whether I should juggle whether as I contemplate about whether I should drop the history of art class. The main reason is that I am not sure if I would be able to catch up to a good grade. My friend offers help in creating a plan through which I should be able to catch up with the class. That's it. That's the summary of the conversation. I can check if everything's right. More or less looks good. And I don't think I have much time, so I'm going to be moving on to the next one. Okay. Focused on the screen. Don't look here or there. Okay, let's move next. All right, I have 5 minutes to write about this, okay? Let's see. Write about a time when you achieved a personal goal that you set for yourself, okay? Describe the steps you took to reach this goal and the emotions you experienced upon achieving it. Okay. Reach this goal, okay? Emotions you experienced upon achieving it. All right, I'm ready to begin, okay? And I'm going to be talking about YouTube itself. All right, so in August 2018, I finally started a YouTube channel where I decided to put in 100, or I could say put in all my effort. This, or I can say, not many people know, but this was my second attempt to starting a YouTube channel. My first, and I can actually change the paragraph, first attempt resulted in a failure as I was unaware, I was not wary of copyright policies and YouTube guidelines. This caused my channel to get 3 strikes, due to which it was taken down by I'm getting a call by YouTube. However, this experience left me with wisdom, or you can say led me to gain wisdom about the copyright, so that should not violate while posting content on the platform. See, I don't want to repeat YouTube again, so I'm saying on the platform. Okay, let's see. Fine. All right. In my second attempt, I made sure I made organic content that was based on my experiences, on my real life experiences. Okay. The growth this time was certainly slower as compared to when I was violating the copyright policies. Yet, it was growth that could not be thwarted. Let's show off a bit of vocabulary, all right? Or taken away from me during at any point. In essence, this channel was long term. To this date, I am, let's see, I shouldn't say happy. What I want to say is I am content that I did not give up. Remember, you have to still describe your emotions when you reach your goal, right? I was extremely delighted, or I can say thrilled. I was thrilled to learn that people out there like watching my content and are able to make use of it in their lives. I think that's it. I explained my emotion, right? Emotions and everything. I could just read it, right? To this date, I'm thrilled that I did not give up. I'm content that I did not give up. I was thrilled to learn that people out there like watching my content are able to make use of it, right? And I of course define my dream as well, my goal as well, which is in there implicitly. I could review it if I had more time, but I thought I would talk to you guys. So make sure you
describe an event that is important in your culture.
Okay, let's see.
Describe an event that is important in your culture.
Okay, let's see. So, all right. I'm going to talk about maybe Diwali. An event that is very important for the people of my culture is called Diwali. It is essentially a very good time of the year when Lord Ram came back from the time when he was sent to the woods, and he had to actually stay in the woods for a specific period of time. Well, he finished that time, he came back to his kingdom, and people celebrated by fireworks, by a lot of festivities, and a great amount of sweets that they had for him at the time. The whole town was happy, and to this date, we celebrate Diwali every year, and people are very happy at that time of the year. Many employers give their employees gifts. Many employees give other people gifts, for instance, their maids and anyone else who is working for them. And people are just very, very happy at that time of the year because it almost seems like there's a very positive vibe in the air at Diwali. So it's a very special occasion in my culture, and people used to play with fireworks, although they are getting more and more banned right now. But at the same point in time, it's still one of the most prestigious times of the year for people in my culture. That's it. I would not be saying anything else after this point, okay? Try to keep it correct. Punctuation, of course, you can't write punctuation, but you can speak it, right? If there's a comma, give a little bit of a gap. All right, let's do the next one. Prepare to speak about the image below. Okay, there's two men in this image. Two men. One is wearing a blue suit. One is wearing a gray suit. They're both thinking about something. One seems to be drawing. Okay. In this image, I see three men. One has his back turned towards us and is towards the back side of the photo, so I'm not able to see him very well, whereas the other two are sitting with their faces, which are being clearly shown on the camera. One of the men is in a blue suit, has dark grayish hair, and seems to be thinking. He seems to be looking somewhere in the abyss, and he seems to be thinking about something that is going on in front of him. Whereas the other man, who is dressed in sort of like a gray suit and also has white hair, is seemingly working with his briefcase. He has his briefcase open and he must be going through some things. It looks like it that he is very busy at the moment as well. And all of these three men, I believe, in this photo, we can very clearly see that they are clearly engaged in doing something. In this picture, these men are actually sitting on the street itself. There's a place to sit on the street. There are some seats placed on the street where these men are sitting and they are going about their business, as I explained. But that's it. Again, I could go deeper, but what you saw was I did not say, there were times when I was not sure about what to say. I took a little bit of a pause, and that's what I want you to do as well. All right, the next one, the cue card. An important decision you made. What was the decision? Why was it important? How did you decide what to do? Okay. All right, I think I'm ready. An important decision that I took in my life was when I was at the University of Southern California. And in about just a couple weeks, I was able to decide that the degree I was pursuing was not for me. It was my master's degree in computer science. I already had a bachelor's in the same field. And I felt like I was not really going anywhere. I saw my life in front of me. I would be working on an H-1B. I would be running the race. And I would be basically working for a company in the US, most probably, at least in the short term. And I quickly realized that that's not what I want to do. On the other hand was my YouTube and my company, which I was again keeping on the side. For all my life, I had kept it on the side. And I wanted to give it time. But it was very difficult for me to decide whether to drop out or not. That's why this decision was so important, because it would decide the whole future of my living itself. The way I actually went about it was I consulted quite a lot of people, my parents, my friends, and almost everyone at that point supported me in realizing that I could always do the study abroad endeavor all over again. But I could not always go back in time and, lose the debt that I have and everything and give that 100% of the time to my business. And that's why I decided to drop out, and it was one of the best decisions that I ever made, because I am now helping thousands of students that are watching this video. All right, so that was that. I believe this should take us to the last part of the test, or prepare to write about the topic below. All right, we're going to write, no problem. Choose a plant or animal that you think is interesting. Describe some of the threats and challenges it faces, how it overcomes these threats or challenges. Okay, let's see. Let's choose an animal. It's always easier, I think. Let's see. Okay, we could have, I don't know, we could have tigers, lions, right? Okay. All right, let's start. An animal that I find interesting, or you can say that one of the animals that I find intriguing, right? Let's paraphrase the question. Intriguing, I-N-T-R, intriguing, is called the lion. We often refer to the lion as the king of the jungle. You can say as the king of the jungle, right? You can write like so. Okay, we have to describe some of the threats and the challenges it faces. The lions are a part of the cat family and are extremely intelligent creatures. They have, they have one over, much bigger, or we can say much bigger animals like elephants have succumbed to the these animals. You can say to these species, or to these, well, we can say animals, but let's just say to the lion, because of its intelligence and hunting skills. All right. Okay, let's see. What else can we say? A threat that lions often face is the lack of food, given given their, remember it's plural, so given their dependency on the on the presence of other animals that they must prey on. In case a lion is unable to find, or again catch, you could say, or hunt one of these animals, it can starve and die, right? Okay. Of course, no animal would easily give up their life for the lion. Hence, the lion is often found hunting alone in quiet. It overcomes this issue by being extremely good at being silent and emerging and camouflaging themselves in the woods, right? I may not have the correct spelling here. Camouflage. Well, let's see. Yeah, one of the animals that I find intriguing is called the lion. We often refer to the lion as in the jungle. Lions are part of the cat family and are extremely intelligent, much bigger. Lion because of its intelligent hunting skills, lack of food given the dependency, the presence of other animals that they must prey on. In case a lion is unable to find or hunt one of these animals, it can starve and die. Of course, no animal. I think more or less we did quite well. I could have written a little bit less as well, but it seems like it's quite decent. All right, let's move forward. We have to do a 3-minute speaking sample right here, guys. It's quite a long one. So a story that you enjoy. It can be a book, a movie, a TV show, any story. What do you like best about the story? How do you think it could be better? Okay, let's see, right? Let's see. Okay, I watched the movie Castaway yesterday. I'm not sure if you know. The actor gets stuck on an island, and let's see. How do you think it could be better? The movie that I really like, and it's essentially due to its story, is called Castaway. It's a very old movie from the year 2000. And what I really like about this movie is the acting of the main actor, the protagonist. He's amazing at what he acts. He's actually amazing at how he acts. He's apparently in a plane and the plane crashes and somehow he makes it to the shore of an island where he's alone. There's no one on this island. And the story goes forward in the way that this actor is really just stuck there for 4 years. He's not really able to do anything to escape, even though sometimes he finds boats with lights. He's not able to cross the tides that are next to the shore because of the island. And he just keeps on trying. He keeps on trying to live. He has a ball, by the way, which was a FedEx package. Apparently, he was able to get that somehow. And he creates that ball into a person. He keeps talking to it. So he tries to keep sane. He makes fire, he makes, water bottles and all of that good stuff. So we really see how civilization has made it very easy for us to access these things today, but they were really difficult to access in a time where basically the man did not have any of these things at their disposal, right? So that's why I really love the story. And eventually he makes up a boat, and after almost 4.5 years, he's able to escape somehow because he is lucky. But it just shows that anything is possible, and you should really put your time and effort into it. How do I think it could be better? Well, in the end, this actor goes back to his to his state, where he used to live, and the girl of his dreams that also kept him alive at the at the place where he was stuck. It seems like she's married off now with another person, and they never really showed if this girl was able to again make it back to him or not. So I would have loved to see a little bit more on that in terms of the author's perspective, on whether this man was able to get that woman again in his life, or if he was not able to again get her, because at the end they just left it out there for you to imagine. And I think that's something that I would have preferred to see directly from the author and the cast itself. But overall, I really enjoy the story. I think it's one of my favorite movies of all time as of now. And the last 20 seconds, I'm just going to leave it. Doesn't matter if it's, remember 3 minutes, right? It's quite a lot of seconds, 180 seconds. 20 seconds, even if I leave, it's fine. Right? So that's it, guys. Let's see. Submit. Okay. Let's see. All right. You can see 115 to 145, even though I quite messed up the test in certain areas, right? But I hope that this video helps. Again, a lot of information, a lot of such content is available to you on YMGrad.com. So make sure you sign up so that you're able to access this study material as well. Face any issues? No problem. Reach out to me on either my Instagram page, or you can follow me over here for more such videos. Let me know if you'd like to have more such content. And I'm so thankful that you watched this video. Thank you.